Hello everyone, welcome to the social network of ESSEC Business School. We're going to talk today about the Global BBA, and to discover more about this program, you can ask all the questions that you have in the chat section, and we're going to discover this program with you, Corinne PEIFFERT. Hello.
Hello.
You are the Director of Studies of ESSEC Global BBA. We're also with some students. We're going to talk about their background and to talk about their studies. First of all, Matteo Keller, hello.
Hello.
Can you give us some information about you, where you're from and your background?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Matteo Keller. I'm 23 years old and I'm from Switzerland. I did my high school there, and then I joined the ESSEC in the Singapore campus and did my first 2 years there, and I'm on my third year here in the Pedagogy campus.
Okay, and we're going to talk about what you want to do in the future in a few minutes. We're also with Tassina Wetzberg. Hello.
Hi.
Thanks a lot to be there with us. Same question for you. Can you give us some information about your background?
Yes, so I'm born and raised in California in Santa Cruz, a little surf town. I'm half German, half Swedish, and I came to ESSEC because I wanted to come back to Europe and discover the European style of education, be in an international environment. I was in the Cergy campus the first 2 years. I'm currently doing my mobility in Rabat in Morocco. And next semester I'm going on exchange. Okay,
and you are going to tell us more about this exchange. And finally, you're with us, Simon Premoli. Hello.
Hello. So, I was born and raised in Buenos Aires, in Argentina, but I'm half Irish, half Italian. And I decided to come to this program because of diversity. I wanted to experience something new. And I'm currently in Cergy for the past year and 3 weeks already. Okay. But in next semester I'm gonna be in Singapore.
Okay, thanks a lot to be there with us. Let's begin with you, Corinne. Can you give us some information about your institution, ESSEC Business School? How is it a specific and unique business school?
Well, ESSEC is unique in many different ways. First, it's an institution of excellence, academic excellence, definitely. We have some of the best professors in the world, which are really focusing not only on teaching, but also on research. And it's also very unique in the sense that it's very international. And that really shows, again, in the faculty body, but also in the student body. I mean, our 3 students representatives here are perfect examples of how diverse the school is. And we also have, 3 different campuses, so they're going to experience, with the 3 of them, they're all going to experience all 3 campuses of ESSEC, Paris, Singapore, Morocco. So that's really something very unique about the school. And then I would say that the last strong point of ESSEC is really its network, both in terms of company network for internships and career perspectives, but also alumni, obviously. 65,000 alumni in our network right now. So that's something which we've had for a long time. And finally, I think I should mention something which is a little bit more recent, which is our strategy. Because that really makes a big difference, and we hope to make a difference in the world with our strategy, Enlighten, Lead, and Change, that is focusing on building a sustainable future through the education of our students. And that really tackles many different areas, sustainability, as I said, but also, how to tackle with the new digital era, because you need to be aware of that part as well. And also entrepreneurship. The entrepreneurship mindset is absolutely key in the school.
Matteo, I imagine that when you were in high school, you had different opportunities to study in different countries. Why did you choose specifically ESSEC and the Global BBA?
Well, so for me, ESSEC is a very international school, as we just discussed, and as you can see us represented here from different countries in the world. And so, growing up in another international environment, I wanted to throw myself out there and be surrounded with international people. And so that's why I chose ESSEC mainly, also because it's an international school. And secondly, I think the opportunity that ESSEC has within that global BBA with the internship possibilities, that really made it for me, the learning by doing aspect of the program. You have to do the 3-month internship, then the 1-month internship, and in the end, the 6-month internship. So for me, we have 10 or over more than 10 months of professional experience at the end of the program, and that was really that was one of the biggest aspects for me. And I wanted to throw myself out there, as I said, in the international environment, and so that's why I also started at the Singapore campus, which is even more different than here in Paris, for example. For me, as a European, to get to know the Asian cultures, the Asian way of living, or just being in a very, very melting pot of cultures in Singapore.
And Simon, the international exposure, you have it with the different opportunities to travel around the different campuses, but you have it in your class because all the students have different background. How do you feel that you all speak English? You're all discovering maybe another cultures?
Yeah, I feel like the most important thing for me when I decided to come here was the diversity, because I come from a school in Argentina. There's the minority are international in my school. Most of the people who came from other countries apart from Argentina were in Latin America. So for me, basically, was apart from the internships and all the amazing academic experience that it has, diversity has been really important, because now I get to know people from different cultures, backgrounds, religions that I could have never done it there in Argentina or perhaps in other country in Latin America.
Can you, Corinne, talk a little bit about the Cergy campus where we are currently, and explain how it looks like?
Sure. So Cergy is around 40 minutes from downtown Paris, so it's really not far and very accessible. Though I must say most students want to live near the campus for obvious reasons. It's the historical campus, so this is where it's the biggest campus of all three, of course, and it's like a beehive, really. It's very busy. A lot of students around, student associations all around. It has historical parts which are older, and it has very new parts like where we are right now, the K-Lab, which focuses on all the innovation that we put at the disposal of the faculty and of the students. So overall, it's a very interesting campus that gives way for a lot of initiatives and creativity for the students.
And you are going to have some changes on the campus. Maybe we have a little video to discover the new campus 2023. So we will watch it and we will be back just after that to discover the campus. Welcome back to the social network of ESSEC Business School. We're still together to discover the Global BBA, and you can keep on asking all the questions that you have about the program. We were just talking about the French campus, the campus here at Cergy, but there are other campuses. There is Matteo campus, the ESSEC Asia Pacific, where you studied. Can you explain and make us discover this campus?
Yeah, sure. So the ESSEC campus in Singapore is a lot different than here in Cergy, where we are right now. First of all, it's a lot smaller, but also with that small campus, literally everybody that is on campus, all the students, all the faculty members, and a lot of the teachers also. And I'd say it's not only about the campus that is very cool, it's about the whole Singapore aspect, the country where you're in. It's about going out and meeting new people from new cultures and being in a vibrant city such as Singapore, which really makes the campus even more valuable, and not just the size of the campus if it's very big. And yeah, it's a very new campus. I believe it was built in 2015. Exactly. So you know, there's also a lot of innovative tech in there, and nice classrooms, big classrooms. And yeah, it was a great learning environment for me personally.
And Corinne, they can change each year of campus. How does it work concretely?
So basically, students will choose a campus to start the program. So you apply either for the Cergy campus in France, or the Singapore campus, or the Rabat campus in Morocco. And then students spend the first whole year there, because you need to start somewhere, right? And then from the second year onwards, they can choose to apply for what we call inter-campus mobility. And basically, you know, the students are free to apply, and based on grades, so they need to study well. And so if you start in Singapore, you can come for a semester in Cergy, or if you're in Cergy, you can go to Morocco, you know, all the different directions. And then from the third year onwards, then it really depends. There are many, many options, and it really depends on the different choices students will make. So it's also possible to change campus at that time.
And there is a campus at Rabat, Tassina. It's where you are going, or you are coming from?
I've already arrived there, yes.
Okay.
It's been 4 weeks.
4 weeks, okay. And how is this campus?
It's magnificent. It's very similar to what Matteo was saying in Singapore. I haven't been to the Singapore campus, but I assume, based on what you were saying with size, this is a key element. It's a nice change from Cergy. Cergy is so incredibly big, and in a way this is a wonderful opportunity to meet people from the master program, meet people from other years. In Rabat it is condensed. It's very optimized, in my opinion, in terms of being able to communicate with the administration. The building is very nice as well. I think it is a dynamic campus. It's very new, 2017 if I'm correct. And it is removed from Rabat, the city, so you have a little bit of a more community vibe with the students there. It's a great way to be introduced into the African continent in Morocco. Just like Matteo was saying for ESSEC Singapore, I think it's a very intelligently placed campus. Africa has so many opportunities for digital innovation right now. And development, and ESSEC being there is great for us to kind of launch ourselves there.
And Corinne, when you're just graduated from high school, you're used to living with your parents, you have your habits, and then you have to go internationally to Paris, to Singapore, to the Morocco. It can create a lot of fears with all the administrative steps. How do you help the students with all these little steps to grow?
Yeah, of course, we do help students and their parents to manage that transition because we recognize it can be a big step, though the students usually we recruit are very excited about that next step. But a little help, of course, is always welcome. And so we have dedicated services at ESSEC that will help the students for registration, for housing, and we have a lot of webinars along the way with, you know, addressing those specific topics, you know, like financial aid or visa. So this will come, you know, once you go through the steps of admissions, then you will have a lot of dedicated information for you. Yeah, so don't worry about that.
And you have the label Bienvenue en France.
Yeah.
What is it, this label? What does it mean concretely?
So basically, it's a label that was given by Campus France and through the Ministry of Higher Education as well to recognize the quality of the welcome that an institution provides to its international students, precisely for the reason you mentioned, because, you know, coming from abroad, it might not be so easy to figure out everything. And so we have the highest certificate, highest level of the certificate, level 3. So it means we are, you know, top-notch in terms of quality of service for that.
We're not going to go deeply into the Global BBA, but just before that, we have a little video to discover it, and we will be back just after that. Corinne, can you describe for us the ESSEC Global BBA program? How does it look like? What do we do concretely?
Okay, so first of all, Global BBA is a 4-year program, so that's something that you have to keep in mind. And why 4 years? It's a bachelor program, so undergraduate, you come directly from high school. 4 years because we want our students to have very different experiences, so it's not only academic, but also professional and international, either professional or academic. So for this, we need 4 years. We also asked them to do a final dissertation, so that's very important. I was talking about research earlier with the professors, but that trickles down into the program. Then we did mention earlier that students will have the opportunity to go on into campus mobility, but even more than that, all students will go on exchange program. So all the students will have an experience at another institution, which is a member of our network of partners.
Okay, and what is the background that you require?
So we ask students to have a high school degree, basically, that allows them to continue to do their studies. So depending on the country you're coming from, that could be, A-levels in the UK, or that could be, high school diploma in the US, it could be IB, it could be French baccalaureate, obviously, if you're coming from France. So everything that is equivalent to that. And then we also ask for, specific qualities in terms of personality. We are really looking for students who are curious, who are open-minded, who are really willing to take on the challenges of our times and experiencing as early on as the first years of the program.
And how can you judge the curiosity of the students? What do you like to hear when you're talking with them?
So we have an admission process that is in 2 steps. We ask students to first, apply online, so they have a certain number of information to provide, very standard stuff, but also some essays. And we're going to look at, their perspective on some topics and why they want to apply for the program, obviously. And after this first step, if we think that, the file is of good value, not just academics, again, not just grade, but also in terms of content and personality, we're going to ask them to come for an interview. So when I say come, it doesn't mean you have to all travel to Paris to do the interview. It can be online, of course. But if you can come on campus, it's even better because you can meet us and see how it is. So we like to hear about students, who are well, as I said, curious, but it's really about, being excited about the future. And it doesn't mean you need to have all the answers about what you're going to do next or your professional career. But, be willing to explore all this is really a key point. But I'm sure students have more to say on that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, maybe Tassina, how do you remember all these admission steps? How was it for you?
I really liked it. I think it was broad and open-minded. Just as you ask of us to be. The aspect of creativity that you can imply in the essays is very nice. I really like that. I think it reminds me a little bit more of the American approach to universities, so it was comforting for me to see this. Yes, so from the admissions perspective, it's a nice, comprehensive process. You really feel like you're being chosen not only for your grades and your academic achievements, but also what you are doing outside of school. What are your extracurriculars? What are your passions? Maybe you have a little project that you're doing outside of school. You have the opportunity to speak about this. You have the opportunity to talk about your identity and how that will form your parcours here. So yeah, I really liked it.
And Matteo, what would be your advice to have a successful admission process? What would you like to say to the people watching us today?
I think some people would like to have their focus solely based on their academics, only having the best grades or being the high achievers. But I think the ESSEC wants also a different focus, different perspective on you. They don't want you to only be in your room and study. They also want to see what you have, what you're doing outside of school. If you're playing instruments or you're doing an art project, or as you said, different side projects that you have.
And did you have some side projects?
I did. So I'm a musician. I play the trumpet and the bass guitar. So I was playing in big bands and jazz combos. So that really that's something that's my passion, basically. So,
and it's something you talked about during the process.
Exactly. So one of my essays, I believe, was about passion. So I was able to talk about or write about that, and also during the interviews also. So that's the second part. It's not, the first part is the application, only application, as you said, and then the next part is the interview. And that was quite special for me because it was the first interview I really had to do. It's the first time you have to do an interview, talk about yourself and present yourself, or but I think it's the first step and to a business school, because afterwards you have to do so many more interviews along your career. So I was excited and a bit nervous at first, but we managed quite well.
But Corinne, sometimes when you're in high school, you think that you don't have a lot of patience, you're going to the class, but you don't know what to put. What could be patience? It could be something that you don't think it's a good patience to put, but that is?
Well, why not? I mean, we're open to anything, basically. It's really about being authentic, I would say, because the school is going to provide a lot in terms of experience to the students, but that can only happen with whatever the students will bring themselves. And this is really the fit that we want to check during the interviews, to make sure that the students will be happy when they come and study in the school, because it's really comprehensive experience. And so it means that, if you have something unique that you think is not in the trend or whatever, it doesn't matter. I mean, on the opposite, that could be very well be your asset, actually.
In which languages is the program taught?
So the BBA program is offered in 2 different languages, French and English. So obviously students coming from the French admissions will definitely by default be in the French track, but it's possible for them to go in the English track. The English track is actually doesn't require students to speak French. So for students coming from abroad, you will be asked to study French when you come to ESSEC, but it's not a requirement for admissions to speak French. So rest assured, no stress. We're not going to test you on that, okay? So take it easy. But you need to have a little bit of interest for the French culture, because that's going to be part of your education, definitely. So in Cergy, that's going to be French and English. In Singapore, it's only English. And in Morocco, it's only French. So you have different choices.
And you can practice and improve your French. I think it's okay. Matteo, you're learning French. How is it for you? Were you able to speak French at the beginning, or did you learn only at
I come from Switzerland. I had to speak French in my education beforehand, but it's a school French. You have to do it, and it's a bit of a slow process. But then in Singapore, I didn't speak a lot of French, but nowadays I'm in Cergy. I speak French nearly every day, ordering coffee or talking to different people, and it's helping. I think it's already improving.
And you, Simon, how are you with the French language?
I had French when I was in high school for 3 years, but I ended up picking other subjects because I never thought I was going to come to France. So when I came here, I had to take French, and in ESSEC, you have the opportunity of taking, if you're not from France or you don't speak French, you have to take French and another language. In my case, of course, was double French. And I'm here I came here almost a year ago, and I can say that I'm getting there with my French. I'm starting to understand more things, and I can go to the groceries or most of the information I can just go and do it by myself, and not needing other people to do it for me, or using English, of course.
So that's okay.
Yeah,
it's you feel
great.
Comfortable. And you, Tessina, you already spoke French before coming.
Yeah, I started learning, I think it is like 7 years ago now. So, yeah.
We have an interesting question coming from the chat about the classes and the teaching style. There is a trend asking students to study all contents online on their own and come up to class to discuss about it. Is it what you do as well?
So that's for me.
Yeah.
So this is what is described in the question is what we call flipped learning, flipped classroom. And we do use this, but it's definitely not most of the formats of the courses we have. We still have a lot of courses which are in a way very traditional that, students are in the room with the teacher and they learn. So this is definitely a good part of the education. But this being said, ESSEC is very innovative in terms of teaching formats. And so basically we have a mix of everything. So we have the standard class with the professor and the students. We have hybrid teaching where it combines this with online teaching, what we call asynchronous. So the material is, to be studied separately. And then we have some classes that are fully online but live. So, it's really a combination of all this.
Mm. And what is your favorite class? Let's begin with you, Tassina. What do you like? Here, yeah, you have plenty of classes, plenty of teachers. But if you had to choose only one, what would it be?
Oh my. I think, I think it was marketing. Last semester, we had a really, really, really enriching and challenging marketing course taught by an incredible professor, Jean-Jacques André. And we were working on a hands-on project throughout the entire semester. So just for context, this is second year marketing class. And we were given a simulation, essentially, to put this brand Costa Coffee through and implement them in New York and see if that's feasible and financially viable. And it was a very challenging, as I said, but also really, really, really intriguing process to go through because it expanded what I thought marketing is. We did financials, we did logistics. It was so enlightening in terms of understanding what marketing really means and applying yourself in an academic context.
Oh, that's really interesting. It shows us that there is a lot of practical activities. It's not only going to class and studying. There is like a practical part.
Yeah, definitely. So we talking about course formats. We also have a mix of traditional lectures, but also a lot of case studies, simulations, group work. Presentations, so it's a very, very rich pedagogy, very different from what you could imagine as typical top-down university classes.
Simon, what would be your favorite class?
It would be the last semester I had the class Introduction to Entrepreneurship, which was also very enriching because you were learning for a year concepts and theories in different classes, and this is a course specifically on creating your own company with a group of people and doing their financing, their marketing, and with all you're just trying to sell the idea. And it was a great practice just to get to use all the concepts you learned throughout the years in different subjects and try to sell your product, which can be theoretical, or you can also create it using different platforms where you have all these information. It's a great experience to know that what you're learning is worth, you're getting the information and practicing it as well.
And what was the project that you were conducting?
We did an application that was basically for meeting people. And we even come up with a whole application. I had to sell the product, obviously do some trailer. It was a really good experience.
And for you, Matteo, what would be your
For me, it's one of the courses I chose this year, which would be Python. And Python is a programming language, a coding language, which is already very popular. I think it's even one of the most popular coding languages out there today. And since it's so popular and everything in our daily lives requires tech and coding in some sort of way, for me personally, that will be very helpful if I understand the language, if I can code it myself. And that's also a good example that ESSEC also keeps on innovating these courses. I'm sure 10 years ago this course would not have existed, but now it does, and in the future so many more courses regarding AI, artificial intelligence will exist, and that's one of my favorite courses so far. Obviously I haven't studied the whole semester yet, but the first two
you have a lot
sessions
of
we
good
had,
expectations.
I already liked it. Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
It's interesting, Corinne, because it shows us that the program is evolving depending on how the marketplace is evolving. Yeah. How does it work? Each year you're like asking yourself, what can we do more?
Yes, definitely. Each year we review the course catalog and we make sure that the program stays, up to date, basically, and in tune with the market needs for companies, and not just for companies, it's for general education of our students. So some of the examples of changes that we've made into the program, and very recently, are courses on responsible leadership, for example, which again leads back to our overall strategy at ESSEC, the RISE strategy. We are also adding courses on companies and climate change. We're adding courses on diversity and leadership, and on artificial intelligence and data management. So these are, new courses that all our students will be taking for graduation.
Okay, we're going to watch a new video to know more about the program. You can keep on asking all the questions that you have, and keep on asking. There are a lot of questions, and we will answer all of them. We will be back just after that. Corinne, we have just talked about the different campuses, 3 campuses, but there are a lot of other international opportunities for the students. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned before, it's compulsory for our students to graduate to actually spend some time in the partner university, 1 semester or more, depending. We have specific tracks. One of them is called the International Business Education Alliance, IBA, where students will spend in cohort with students from other universities, 4 semesters together, 1 semester in Germany, Mannheim University, 1 semester in the US, University of South Carolina, 1 semester in ESSEC Singapore, and 1 semester in FGV IBAPE in Rio in Brazil. So it's a fantastic program where students will really learn skills related to careers in international consulting, multinational companies, that kind of career. So that's one example. Another one that we have is with Berkeley Global in the US as well, where students will have a program during 2 semesters that will be focused more on innovation management, entrepreneurship. And so, yeah, that takes place in year 3 and 4. And we have another track, which is responsible international leadership. Again, back to our core strategy. This one is also in the US, but with the University of South Carolina, and really focusing, as it says in the title, on responsible international leadership. Then apart from this, there are regular, I would say, exchange programs. We have over 175 partners around the world in all the continents, and students can really choose where they want to go, again, based on grades, so they have to study well if they want to have more choice, and based on the languages they would like to reinforce, and some universities may have different topics. So we have double degree programs in China, in Korea, in Japan, in Brazil, Lebanon, in Europe as well. So many choices, really.
And they can also do internships internationally?
Yes, so the international dimension can also be complemented with the professional experience. So sorry, Matteo mentioned this quickly in the beginning. Basically, there are 3 different steps in the program as far as professional experience is concerned. The first internship comes as early as the end of the first year, 3 months. And it's on purpose because our students are very young and we want them to get exposed to being in a company, to experience what it's like to be in a team with a boss, with, fixed timings, proper mission. And it really helps them, determine what they want to do next in the program and after the program for their career. Sometimes they discover, wow, I love this company, I love this kind of job, I love this sector. Sometimes they hate it, and they know, at least, they can choose. So it's really a first step. Then we have a second experience, which is at the end of the second year, which is completely different. It's called the field experience, and it's really meant to have students exposed to social diversity, economic diversity. And they will be working in NGOs, typically, associations that have direct contact with the beneficiaries, and it's for 1 month. And then the longest experience will take place in year 3 and 4. It's a 6-month internship, which is really a stepping stone towards what they're going to do next after the program. So in that experience, they will have, of course, a more comprehensive mission given by the company. They will lead the project from A to Z, and it will be also a very important step for the future.
We have a question from the chat. Is intercampus mobility mandatory?
Absolutely not. So students can choose to apply for intercampus mobility, but they don't have to. So, of course, depending on what you want to do, etc., you may, some options may be possible or not, but it's not compulsory.
Okay. Tassina, I think you're going in Rome next semester.
Yes.
So how did you have this opportunity? How did it work for you?
For me, it is because I chose Italian as a language. Most of my academic and extracurricular decisions are motivated by languages. So I started learning Italian. I loved it. And I looked at the options for exchanges. There's many options in Italy, so already I was very excited. And I decided I wanted to go to Rome to Luis. I have some friends there, so I was able to gather a little bit more about maybe our compatibility with what I want to do and the program that is offered. I did my field experience last summer in Italy to get a little pre-flavor, I guess, of how it was going to be linguistically speaking and culturally speaking. And so now I'm just looking forward to that new experience.
And you began to speak Italian at ESSEC, or you began earlier?
I began during COVID because I was bored.
Okay. And by yourself, and then you arrived at ESSEC and you chose some classes in Italian?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
And how is your level now?
I would say it's equivalent to French with some missing vocabulary.
Okay, so that's great. Like in 2 years, having been able to talk Italian like that. Matteo, what is interesting is that you are enrolled in the Berkeley program. Can you explain a little bit why you decided to choose it and how it is concretely for you in your curriculum?
Yeah, sure. So I think it's this program, or being in the US, is very good for myself personally, or also for my CV. But because I am Swiss, I'm European. I studied my first 2 years in Asia, in Singapore, and now I want to explore the other part of the world. And being exposed in San Francisco in America would be very good, also for me. I really love getting to know new cultures, and so that's why I started in Singapore. And I want to learn the American way also, but also, different people, getting to know different people there. And more directly to the program, as you already said, it's about innovation management. It's very driven on startups and AI and very new technologies, and which perfectly fits in with my direction that I want to take. And yeah, I think Berkeley really helps me achieve my goals, maybe later on, maybe creating my own startup, or, it's a good entry platform to join the big companies that are located in Silicon Valley, because after all, San Francisco is next to Silicon Valley or in Silicon Valley, so it's a very good starting platform for my future career then.
And you, Simon, you had the opportunity to do some internship internationally. Can you give a few words about that?
Yeah, I did my internship in the Embassy of the Argentine Republic here in Paris.
Okay.
Last summer, and as I'm a second-year student, I put into practice all the things I have learned throughout the year. I used specifically the concepts from macroeconomics or even Excel because I did market studies throughout the internship and also some documents on the bilateral relationship between Argentina and France, and also used Excel for events. So I think I have used many of the concepts and theories I've learned throughout the year in this internship, and it was very helpful as well.
Okay. And do you already know where do you want to live after graduating, or the world is a whole possibility? How are you in your head, Tessina, maybe?
Well, when I did my internship, now it's not last summer, the summer before, I actually had the opportunity of doing it at a very young startup in the Netherlands, in Rotterdam. And it was very eye-opening for me in terms of the accessibility for young individuals who have just come out of maybe their bachelor's, their master's, to enter startups in the Netherlands. It's a really vibrant community. It's very international. So for me, I saw this and I thought, okay, I like this startup environment. I was able to get a taste there, and I think it could be nice to continue potentially, but who knows?
Yeah, maybe you will fall in love with Italian.
Yeah.
And for you, Matteo, do you already know?
I'm not 100% sure yet because, when we can study in the US, because we study there for a whole year, we have the possibility to also work there at the end of the year. So the companies can apply for our visa, I believe. And so I'd say I start working in the US with my 6-month internship after the program, the Berkeley program, and then I'll see where it takes me. Maybe I'll go back to Europe, or even what I'm very looking forward to, or maybe not forward to, but what I'm looking to is going back to Asia and getting to know the place even better. Maybe not in Singapore, maybe in Hong Kong or a different city there. So we'll see. It's still open for me. We'll start in the US and then we'll see where it goes.
And you, Simon?
Yeah, as both of them, I'm open to anything. I'm also finishing, and I'm also in the Berkeley program, so I will try to do my internship there in the United States as well, probably in some startup or company in the tech industry. But I still have to do my semester in Singapore, and I want to experience the United States and Singapore to see where I want to stay, or either Asia, Europe, America, or even Africa. Right now, I'm open to everything.
Corinne, when you're students, it's maybe the best moment to travel, to discover, and its idea with the Global BBA is you have 4 years to really explore the world and find the place you want to stay for a few years.
Absolutely. This is really how the program is designed, and that's why it's compulsory in its graduation requirements, actually. So if you do not do this, you cannot graduate. So it's really part of the philosophy of the program.
We're going to watch a little testimony from an alumni from Singapore, and you can keep on asking all the questions that you have. We will be back just after that.
Growing up, I've always been fascinated about technology and wishes to join a career that is able to merge both technology and business. Today, I am proud to say that I am part of a team that is looking to revolutionize the oil and gas industry through innovation and digitization. Hi, my name is Kevin, and I am a proud alumni who was also part of the pioneering batch of Global BBA students here in the Asia Pacific campus. The BBA program is really unique, and it stood out for me because of its unique ability for me to not only work but also to study in multiple countries. And I think this is the epitome of what I am looking for when challenging myself in different environments, and also to immerse myself in an international community of students and professors alike from different backgrounds and cultures all around the world, all while being in the comfort of my own home. Being a person who really enjoys languages, I picked up Japanese. And I really see myself evolve from someone who watches anime and can only say konnichiwa to somebody who is now able to hold full-on conversations with not just my fellow Japanese peers in school, but also within the Japanese community where I did my humanitarian experience in Japan. A typical day for me in ESSEC would be coming to school, having my morning lessons with my friends as we get lunch. This is actually the most exciting part of the day for me because I get the opportunity to showcase myself as a Singaporean, to introduce my international friends to a wide variety of local cuisines. The ESSEC community has been really supportive towards me. From the librarians to just any staff around ESSEC, they would actually come up to me, speak to me and actually ask me how I am doing, how my studies are going. And I think that is something which you might not get in other universities because of how close-knitted this community is. One positive change that I see within myself, which I'm also really proud of, is the global mindset which I have since developed, having not just worked but also lived in 3 different countries. So from someone who used to be more close-minded and not willing to try new things, now I am someone who is really open to meeting people from different countries, different environments. For local students who are looking to apply to ESSEC, my advice to you would be, if you are someone who is looking to explore the world with a close group of friends and a small community whom you can trust, if you are someone who is currently shy to take on challenges but wants to step out of your comfort zone and embrace different challenges, then I would say ESSEC is the right place for you.
Corinne, how is the professional world integrated in the program?
So we mentioned the 3 different internships that are part of the curriculum. I should also mention actually another option, which is apprenticeship, which is very specific to France, but open to all students in the program, where the students can get a 2-year contract with the company, which will finance their studies, and it gives a longer professional experience. So this is part of the program, but then of course we have a whole career services that is helping students to get their internships and their apprentissage through different activities. So they have counseling services, and again, this is integrated into the curriculum. We have compulsory workshops for our students to attend so that they learn, how to use the network, how to get ready for interviews, etc. Very classic stuff. But we also have a huge network of companies, and these companies come to campus either live on campus or for online sessions, so that students get acquainted basically with what it's like to be, a marketing manager, what it's like to be a financial advisor. So they can get to know the different jobs that are possible for them after graduation, and also the different kind of companies. You have multinational startups, mid-sized companies, anything, any sector. So they get this exposure throughout the different years, and this is really helpful because, of course, it's huge. The opportunities are endless, really. So they need to make a choice, and that's the most difficult part. And then we have a 3rd service, which is also essential, which is making sure that whatever experience the students do is aligned with what we expect from in the program. So we make sure that they don't go for an internship that has nothing to do, or where manager will not be taking good care of them, etc. So we have really these 3 different services.
And is it possible to integrate the BBA without having any clue about what we want to do in the future, or like no clue at all, just I want to travel, I want to discover the world, but I don't know how I am professionally? Is it possible?
Yes, definitely. It's okay. If you're 17 and you want to do a bachelor in business administration and you don't know what to do afterwards, that's completely okay. But still, you still need to know that you're not going to become a dentist with a BBA. Basic stuff, right? And this is what we check also during the interview. But usually, applicants are completely okay with that. Just want to make sure that you still know a little bit about the kind of career that you can have with such a program. But the scope is very, very wide. So there's really a lot of room for choice and innovation in that respect, yeah.
And what kind of career is it possible to have? For instance, we heard a little bit about finance, about tech. It's almost everywhere.
Exactly. It's not just companies. It could be non-profit organizations. It's really any job where you would need some management skills. So you can have, general soft skills, but you can have also very technical skills related to finance or to marketing or supply chain. All this you will learn during the program, and you can make a choice also based on what you learn and what you prefer. So there are many, many opportunities.
Matteo, what were your opportunities? What did you have the opportunity to do as internships?
So for my first internship, the operational internship, I did mine in Singapore at Porsche, the automotive company, the car company. And I was very lucky to be able to work there. And I was working in the business development sector in the strategy department. So we worked, or I helped working on the strategy for Porsche until 2023 with my supervisor. It was very enriching and learning 3 months, yeah. Because it was the first time I was ever in an office. I mean, obviously I went to an office before, but to see all the computers like in a wall, you know, it's just something you see in the movies, but you don't really think about it that actually, hang on, this might also, you know, an office might also look like that. Obviously, they had different setups and different islands and all that, but...
The little coffee breaks during the day.
Exactly. The 5-minute break, you can chit-chat and all that, but it was really, really enriching for me, the first 3 months, yeah.
And did you have other opportunities, or is it coming after?
So, yeah, that was the operation one, and I did... So funny, my supervisor at that 3-month internship, he changed jobs and he asked me if I want to do another internship. So I did something part-time, you know, next to school also. So that was just recently. Also, I think it was 4 months I did that. And then I had to do the field experience, as we talked before. And I did that in Switzerland in a school where I taught people with kids with disabilities, math and German and all that. So that was my field experience. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting because he's illustrating the word that you use, network. You work with a manager and you work good with this manager, and he's changing the job, and then he called you. That's how the network works.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, this is an obvious connection for you, but the ESSEC Alumni Network is also here to help when you don't have that direct connection. And it's very active, it's very live, and we have representative of ESSEC alumni here on campus that can really help the students as early as the year 1 in the program to find an internship or connections. You know, sometimes they just have questions of what it's like to do your job, and this is okay. It's also a great conversation to have.
And you, Tessina, what were your opportunities? What did you do as internships?
So for my operational internship, I was working in digital marketing. It was for a startup, as I said, in Rotterdam. And they were quite young at the time, I think maybe 9 months. It's a student freelancing platform. And so it was cool to, you know, work with something that is pertinent to me as well. I did way more than just digital marketing because it was a startup, and that's what I wanted to do. I wrote blog articles, we did SEO, so website optimization. We worked with partnerships, gathering content, writing emails to reach out to other companies, touching base with clients, both companies and students, and incorporating that into articles. It was a really, really, really cool experience. I worked very hard, but I learned a lot. And now to see the company 2 years, now they're 2 years old, it's crazy to see how the impact that some of my actions have had and some of my colleagues' actions have had. The team is like 15 people now, we were like 6. So it is very, very cool. It's like raising a child, and but different. But anyways, that was my first one, and then for my experiential one, which was the volunteering. As I said, I was in Italy. I was working in a soup kitchen, and we were. I was between the kitchen and distributing the meals in a small little town in the north of Italy. And this was also really interesting because I got to practice my language skills, obviously, and experience where poverty comes from in a country that is relatively economically well off. It's still very present, and understanding how to mitigate and deal with that in a real-world context.
That's really interesting. We have an interesting question from the chat. Do you have partner companies at ESSEC where the students could possibly find internship or are currently experiencing internship at? So do you have companies that always come with opportunities for ESSEC students?
Absolutely. So we have a network of, I don't know the exact number, but 700 or 800 partner companies with which we work. And of course, we have the top companies in the world, I don't know, in auditing and consulting and the fast consumer goods, whatever. So this takes the form of basically two different things. They have direct offers for our students, internships, and because we have a lot of students, of course, it's easy for students to take over the internship of another students that just finished, for example. They come on campus to present the offers, to present themselves. And then there's another set of partnership that we have, which is called chairs, where the companies are linked to ESSEC through research. So the companies fund research so that professors can get really direct insight into data. And on exchange, the students can get trained and they can also get internships specifically in those companies. So it's really a very fruitful cooperation.
There is a very important question for the students because they want to know what will happen after their studies in terms of salaries. Do you have an idea? Like it counts to know
Absolutely.
what happened after,
Yeah.
how we live. So do you have information about the salaries that students can expect?
Sure. So after the BBA program, the average hiring salary is at 49,000 euro. So that's raw figure in France. This is how we how we count. So of course it's very good. But what I should say is that actually 2/3 of our graduates go for a master's program afterwards. So of course when you go for a master's program, your hiring salary after the master's will be even higher, obviously, right? So this is just the starting point. But still, I think we can be very proud of that.
And what do you want to do after the program? Do you want to keep on studying? Do you want to work directly? Simon, what are you expecting?
I think I'm probably gonna do a master.
Okay.
Specifically, I don't have the name exactly, but I'm probably gonna do one of the ESSEC specialized masters, which is 1 year to complement the BBA. But it all depends, obviously, on my internship on the last year and what are my interests at that time.
Okay. And after that, do you already know? Or?
I'm still not 100% sure, but yeah, probably it's going to be in a technology company. Okay. That's why I'm pursuing the UC Berkeley, the Innovation Management program at Berkeley.
And how do you imagine yourself in this kind of companies, like doing some strategies, working on the products? How do you project yourself?
Yeah, I'm waiting for courses in innovation and artificial intelligence, but for now, I do really like in overall finance and also management as well and marketing. Specifically, so I hope for now it would be one of these 3 areas, but if not, we'll see in these 3 years I still have in the program.
Okay, for you, Tessina, master, no master, how do you imagine the following of your studies?
Master, yeah. I actually am right now in the process of applying for a specific double degree that exists between ESSEC and a university in Paris. It's called ASSAS. It's reserved for people that speak French, but you can learn, you can do it. And it's really interesting because personally I was torn between studying something more related to communication and journalism or devoting myself more to business when I was looking for universities, and in the end my mom said, "You're doing business." So I found this double diploma that ESSEC offers. It was like une opportunité en or, as you would say, a golden opportunity. So I began to focus more on French. That's why I'm in Rabat right now, so I can take my classes in French. I switched to the French track. You can do this. People in English track, it's possible for a semester. It's very enriching if you feel you're ready. And yes, so this will essentially extend my studies for 1 extra year, but it is in Assas, and I will earn an M2 in media and communication, and then I will hope to do a master's in management.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask to do what after, but I think that you're opening a lot of opportunities. But you still want to work in the startup network or maybe in the media field?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Actually, there's another door that has been opened recently thanks to the Cergy campus, which I've been able to meet people from master's programs, and I have some friends in the strategic management program, SMIB, and it's really interesting. I think what they're doing is super intriguing to me, so now I'm thinking, maybe consulting. But I don't know, definitely more on the creative side. I love people that do finance, but it's not for me. So yeah, I don't know, but we will see.
Sometimes, Corinne, the most complicated is to choose with all these different opportunities to finally choose something.
But that's definitely the case, and that's why we give students the opportunity to try and to experience in the program.
And you, Matteo, how do you imagine the rest of your life?
The rest of my life? I don't think I can speak for that part already.
The beginning of the rest of your life.
Let's focus on that one. So yeah, I'm also doing the Berkeley, as we said, and so yeah, I'd say we'll start in San Francisco, maybe in a startup or in a big tech company. But then actually it's very open. The job market is very open from there. I might go have a look into consulting for a few years just to see even more aspects of different kind of businesses, because I can have an idea now, but that might change with the education that I will receive from now until the end of my studies, and also from my internship. Then I'll have a different idea, and then so it's the change is evolving all the time. So it changes all the time. So. Yeah, I cannot put my finger on it just yet what I'm going to do, but I'll start in San Francisco, and then I'll work my way, from there.
But you have 40% of the program that begin to work just after graduating.
Yeah.
What can they do concretely if they don't want to pursue a master's degree?
Master's degree? Well, in terms of career, I mean, is really for students to choose. I mean, you can become a financial analyst, you can become accountant, you can become product manager, brand manager. So, I mean, corporate responsibility manager, anything really. It's just, it's very, very wide, I would say. Impossible to quote everything. Yeah.
We're going to talk about the student life, but just before that, we're going to watch a little video. It's a testimony about a student who is talking about his life at ESSEC. We will be back just after that.
Hello, my name is Thiago Toiches. I'm a Brazilian student here at ESSEC. I'm in my 4th year right now. I did all my studies before in Brazil, and at the end I got an IB diploma, which enabled me to get into ESSEC. I have been fascinated with filmmaking since I was young, but I wanted to first do a diploma that enabled me to go internationally and to get other experiences. But even though that, I wanted to do the ESSEC BBA, and this is enabling me to go directly to work after that. I'm not doing a master's, and this is a big plus of this diploma. I wanted to combine my passion for filmmaking and also my passion for business, and I could really tailor it towards my taste. So I did, at the end of first year, a first internship where I really got into filmmaking, but then I went to Singapore where I joined a startup and I could use again my skills that I was learning in class in the real world. Then I came back to Cergy, and then I went again on an exchange to Australia. And there, ESSEC gave me the opportunity to not only get the business classes, but also any of the classes that I wanted in this university. And I joined then a class in the filmmaking section of this university, the University of Queensland. And this was an amazing experience. I was in the other side of the world with people that I had never met before and on my own. And I learned a lot of things during that time. It was really a great adventure, and I got a lot from this experience.
Thinking back about my favorite moments from ESSEC, the one that really stands out was the Imagination Week. It was the transition from the first cycle to the second cycle. And what really made me have a good impression from this was all the different speakers that came to us. They were really well known, from topics ranging from architecture to food and even science, and I was really impressed by that. And at the end, we were able to do ourselves a project from one of the very important topics of the future. My team and I decided to talk about AI, and we did a video about it, and it turned out to be really good, and the jury selected our projects as one of the best in this week. So I was really glad to have this award, and at the end of the day, it was just good memories. One of the things that I was really looking forward when entering ESSEC was the student life and all the associations that ESSEC had to offer. ESSEC has over 100 associations, and one of those was ESSEC Live, the photo and video association from ESSEC. And I actually got to be the president of this association, which was an amazing opportunity, because not only did I have to manage the teams in very big environments, which was a great life experience and that has translated into work experience, and also I got contacts from people not only from my program, but also from the other programs at ESSEC. So it was a bridge between all those students that had the same passion, and I really enjoyed these moments. If I could say anything to students that want to join ESSEC or are thinking about that, was first of all, to really go for it, not be afraid of taking this leap and opportunity, even though it can be very scary. And if I think back about everything that I have already achieved, I can see a clear-cut difference between the Thiago from before and the Thiago right now. And I can compare it towards my friends that stayed in Brazil and the ones that actually went forward and got this leap of confidence and challenged themselves. Because when you're home and when you're not challenging yourself and when you're not going out of your comfort zone, you don't understand how many possibilities are out there. And when you go and you meet those people, you go outside and you are going and facing your fears, this is where you're going to be growing. If I had to describe ESSEC in 3 words, it would be challenging, tailored, and unforgettable. It was really such a good experience that I want everyone to be able to have, and I really hope that you do take this leap and go for it.
Matteo, how would you describe your life as a student at ESSEC? How is it to experience that?
I mean, at the moment it's great. I mean, I'm here in a new campus, meeting a lot of new people, and being surrounded with so many like-minded people. So it's a very cool feeling. And I'd say, because I'm still new to this campus, but I can talk a bit about what I did in Singapore. So on the Singapore campus, unfortunately with COVID, everything was a bit shut down, but there was an association room, so people would still be able to meet there in groups. And so what we did, we had a little band session sometimes there. So we had the drums, guitar, bass guitar, and so we just jammed around a bit. So that we did that after school or just in a break, for example, when we didn't have classes. Or played ping pong for that reason also. And so I'd say that was my student life during school, but then afterwards you go out, hang out with your friends, you maybe go to a bar, have a drink, and being in Singapore, it's the possibilities are endless. You have Chinatown, you can go to Little India, you can go to Arab Street, or who go to Marina Bay Sands, look at the sea, the Mir Line, or the hotel in the back. It's just, there's so much stuff to do in Singapore. So I'm excited what I can do here in Cergy or even in Paris, because Paris has endless opportunities to go with your friends also. So,
And in Singapore, was it easy for you to find facilities, to find an apartment, stuff like that? How was it for you?
So easy. I wouldn't say it was very easy, but it was quite an easy process. ESSEC also helped. Unfortunately, in Singapore, there are no student houses provided by ESSEC, unlike here in Cergy. There are different buildings that are from ESSEC. In Singapore, not. You have to go out and look for them yourselves. But ESSEC has a good, good helping guide, for example, to guide you through that process and find your apartment.
And there is like a network with the past students that can
exactly
give,
that also,
tips.
and also we have the Facebook group. Once you're admitted, you have a Facebook group where for example, the Singapore group, and then people can already talk and get to know each other, or maybe even form colloque, with other people. And so that's how I found also my roommates there, and it was great for the first 2 years.
And here at Cergy, are you enrolled in some associations? Are you doing some activities? How is it for you?
Not at the moment, but I'll definitely go into the music association very soon.
And for you, Tassina, how would you describe your experience? How is it to be a student at ESSEC Business School?
It's brilliant. Yes, it's amazing. It's so, how to say, it expands your opportunities, your identity, everything. My first association that I joined was theater. It was in my first year, and it was still COVID a little bit, so I figured this can be a good opportunity to, join something and try something new. I loved it. It was really, really cool. Again, associations, it's a great opportunity to meet people that are not in your year, to meet people that are not in your track, to meet people that are in a master degree, grande école. So it's really, really enriching in this way. I loved the theater. And then second year, I did student government, which was a real roller coaster. I think that if you are not French, for me, I had a very different concept of student government, and here it is just incredible. It is a really, really animated experience. The campaign is 3 months, and it livelies up the entire school. I joined because I wanted to help integrate international students into this environment and help
What is it
people
concretely
out.
as a student government? What do you do concretely?
Well, we do a lot of things. In general, we try to be the link between students and the administration. So we try to communicate any problems. We are responsible for welcoming exchange students. This is particular also to my department because I was in the international student department. So we try to help integrate them. We host a lot of events. I think this is a big point. We host events, we host parties. Some of them are on campus, some of them are not on campus, and there's many different types of things that we do for events. And then, of course, we try to mitigate any problems, concerns, suggestions coming from the student side and bringing that to the administration. So, yes. Anyways, the campaign is happening right now. I don't know how it's going, but I remember last year it was really, it animates the campus, and it's a great experience for first years to come into because it's very fun and crazy sometimes, but it's a good time.
It's really interesting. And you, Simon, what is your experience as a student here?
As both of them said, it's amazing. The community and the family you meet here, it's one of a kind. I am currently a member of 2 associations. I'm a member of the Luxury and Fashion Association, ESSEC, and also the ESSEC Club of Economics.
Okay.
So I decided on these 2 associations, first of all, as they said, to meet new people from different programs, different years, and also because I really like these 2 industries, and I wanted to experience more to know the areas. So yeah, apart from that, it's been great. The campus here is amazing. People are really good. So so I'm happy.
There is a Parisian Fashion Week coming in a few
Yeah,
days or weeks.
I think it's next week.
Okay, next week. Okay,
Yeah.
and you're going to be a little bit part
Yeah,
of that.
these are depending on the association. The luxury association is trying to get into different places. We're currently in recruitments as well, so it's this part is fun.
And it's universe because you told us that you want to maybe work in the tech sector, but the luxury could also be another possibility for you.
Yeah, I'm just open to anything. I try. There's plenty of associations for you to. There's cultural, professional. I got into the ESSEC Lab of Economics, but there's also there's plenty for high technology. I'm trying to get into those as well. So it's just trying to look what you're really into.
Okay, and did you have some fears before coming to ESSEC? Did you have some fears about maybe France or the school or the people, and how did it go finally?
Yeah, so coming from Argentina, it's pretty far from here. It's more than 10,000 kilometers, so it was a bit difficult because I don't have anyone apart from like the people from ESSEC. I never I came here without actually knowing some people in France, so it was hard. But as Corinne said, there's a group in ESSEC that helps you for that. I had this counselor from the Latin American region who provided me a lot of assistance in terms of questions. If I had some question about the campus, the program, the internships, and she even had some sort of virtual sessions with my parents as well to explain them the process and how the community in general. And also something good she did, which I appreciated a lot, was the fact that she organized a group between the people coming from the same area, from the Latin American area, for us to know already some people, and whenever we're in the campus or as soon as we get here in Cergy, to know some and just not be alone. And it's also part of our culture since we are all pretty close. So it was an amazing experience. The assistant here was pretty good, and that's one of the reasons why I ended up coming here, because I thought that if the assistance before coming to ESSEC was good, the service here was going to be amazing as well.
So you arrive alone without knowing anyone, and now you have like a group of friends.
Even before coming,
you met them virtually before?
Yeah, virtually before. So when I came here, I already knew some of the people from that region.
That's really interesting. Corinne, the idea is that when you're a student, it's important to go to class. It's important to have, of course, it's mandatory, go to class, but it's important to have job opportunities, but it's also important to develop your personality, to connect with people. It's the idea that you're trying to create here.
I think it's also one of the specifics of ESSEC, and in particular of the BBA program, where there is room for students to get involved outside of class, strictly speaking. And really the student life, the student associations at ESSEC are just amazing. There's over 100 different associations. Students can create their own association if they don't find what they want, which, okay, you need to look a little bit carefully because there's already a lot, but you can always create something else. So there's really time for that. And of course, you need to learn how to balance, involvement in your studies and involvement outside of your studies. It's part of the experience, but it's meant to be like this, definitely.
Mm. Yeah. And in terms of accommodations and housing, we talked about Singapore. Tassina, at Cergy, how is it? There are like housing dedicated to students?
Yeah, there's a lot of different options, and more as we speak. I was speaking with Simon, and he's in a newer residence, so no need to worry about finding accommodation. There's also a Facebook group where students sometimes post, like if they're leaving an apartment, there's an apartment complex that is right across from campus. This is not student housing, but it is mostly occupied by students. So on Facebook you can find maybe some availability there if you join the group Apart ESSEC. Otherwise, there's also partnerships between ESSEC and some other housing. I think it's called Allège ESSEC, if I'm correct. Yeah. I stayed in an Allège ESSEC residence in Le Port. This is a residence that is approximately 10 minutes from campus. There is also a residence called Le Parc. It is 2 minutes from campus. So in general, yes, most of the residences are very, very close. And it's great to be in a residence because this is also how you meet people and kind of get into student life. Cergy is a university town, so there is no worry about student housing. There's many options.
Maybe I can add to reassure some parents maybe. So we do have a lot of rooms available in our student housing here in Cergy, and we give priority to students who are minor students. So they will get priority to get a slot. And we also give priority to international students. So this is really something we are very careful about because we know obviously it's a bit more difficult when you come from abroad, and especially if you're below 18.
And Matteo, how is life in France? How would you describe it?
I mean, at the moment it's pretty cold, if I may say so.
Cold? We haven't seen anything yet.
Coming from Singapore with the warm weather, it's very cold. But you know, being from Switzerland, I know exactly how the winter's going to be like. But it's great. I really enjoy it. I live with my friends. We live in studios in the same building at the Clay residence, and it's about a 15-minute foot walk from here. So it's always good to walk in the morning or walk back from after class or
in the cold.
In the cold, exactly. But no, it's great. And you know, in Singapore, I took the public transport, and now I can just walk to campus, which makes it more easier. You're not dependent on buses and all that, so it's very convenient.
And you have in Cergy a little like a student life. It's like you have a campus, you have all the apartment, and then you just have to take a train, and you are in Paris, and you can enjoy the Parisian life.
Exactly. So Paris is full of opportunities. You can see all the tourist place, or just go there for the evening, go into a bar, have something to eat and drink, and explore Paris, which is very conveniently placed 40 minutes from here.
Have you already a favorite place at Paris?
No, not yet.
Okay.
No, not yet.
You have?
Oh, yeah.
What is your favorite place?
My favorite place, I recommend to everyone, it's called La Felicità. It's Italian. It's across from Station F, so you can check two things. You do your entrepreneurial things, Station F, you get pizza at La Felicità. It's very good. They have music. I approve. Little advertising moments,
yes. But yeah.
I'm not sponsored.
Okay. And you have a place that you enjoy at Paris?
I like all the museums. Since I'm here, I've been to many of them, and with the student card, you can get there free. So it has been pretty good going to the Louvre and every museum in Paris or exhibition.
The cultural part of Paris. We're reaching the end of this live session, but before leaving you, we're going to take some chat questions. I'm looking for the different question. Maybe there is one about what we can do. What are the different courses that you have concretely in the first year of study? So like you arrive at ESSEC, and what are you studying? Maybe Tassina, you can tell us what you did when you arrived.
So the first 2 years in my experience are designed to give you a little introduction into everything that could potentially be considered a business course. So it's very diverse. I remember our first year we had finance, well not finance, but we had accounting, we had marketing, we had economics. First semester it's macro, second semester it's micro. That might be wrong, but switch it. Okay. And we also have language courses, geopolitics. In the second semester, I think, of first year, there's a law course, business law. So really, as you can tell, it's very diverse in terms of exploring different sides of business. Second year, you will take finance courses to replace the accounting. You also have a math class first year. First semester, it's statistics, applied mathematics, so calculus, and then, thank you, I'm old now, and then it's statistics. Yeah, so it's very diverse. I think a key point to tell this person is that don't be overwhelmed by the amount of classes. I think it's there for a reason. It's there for you to understand, okay, how can I manage my time? What are my priorities? And you will inevitably come to a point where you're like, oh God, I have so many classes. They're all, interesting in their own ways. But it forces you to pick priorities and to pick what am I really interested in. And this is is there, so that in your second cycle you know what classes you want to choose when you have this opportunity.
Because Corinne, you can choose the different classes, you can create your own curriculum.
So the first 2 years, it's a core curriculum. So all students will be studying the same topics because they need the foundations. And then from the third year onwards, yes, the students will be able to choose their classes. So this is where we have a set of electives where they can pick and choose not only the topic, but the language and also the professor and the time slot. So it's really à la carte and based on the first 2 years where they will have already had a lot of core courses, but also already a lot of experience. And this is really the philosophy for the second part of the program.
We also have a lot of questions about the fact of pursuing the studies after graduating. What are the different opportunities for the students after they graduate?
So, as we mentioned, a lot of students go directly for the job market, and that's definitely an option. Some go and create their companies, but 2/3 of our students go for a master's program. And for this, there are many options because BBA is #1 in France for past 20 years at least. So it's really very well recognized bachelor program in France and internationally, definitely. So students can apply for master's program at ESSEC because we have our own set of master's program, or they can apply for masters in other schools in France or universities in France, but also overseas. For the students prospects that are interested in the French market, you should know that with the BBA, you have what we call Master 1, Master 1 level, 4 years of study, which means that in the French system, higher education system, you can apply for masters directly into the Master 2 level. So you don't need to redo the whole 2 years, only directly into the second year. In other countries, that doesn't apply, so you just go for masters and it's simple. But in France, it's an important specification to mention. There are only just a few programs where you would need more technical skills, and in that case, they would ask you to start directly from Master 1. That would be typically in finance, for example, but it's very specific. So, and then, you can go to some of the most prestigious schools overseas. We even have a partnership with an alliance with schools overseas. It's called B2M, Bachelor to Masters, where you have some kind of easier path to admissions into those programs. So it includes Queen's University in Canada, Instituto de Empresa in Spain, Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, Warwick Business School in the UK, and Mannheim Business School in Germany. So really top schools. Where you can really benefit from the special arrangements. I give you the stamp that you're a good student, and then you can apply more easily to these programs. So it's really fantastic.
So they have plenty of different opportunities in different schools. Matteo, maybe it will be the last question, I think. What would be finally your tips for the interview process? Because I imagine that the people watching us are going to go through the interview process. What would be your tips, like concrete tips to have a successful interview?
Yeah, so I think the biggest aspect of my biggest tip would be authentic, be yourself, and because that's what actually the recruiters are looking for, an authentic you that presents yourself to the admission, and because they know you don't have years and years of business academic in your background. They know you just graduated from high school. So I think that's important too also because they know it and you know it. So just talk about yourself, what you're doing now, and why the Global BBA, why ESSEC. So they really have focus on that as well. Obviously also give a lot of thought about what you want to pursue after ESSEC and how can ESSEC help you to reach your goals or to go through that journey. So I think these are good tips and for you to have a good interview, and also don't be scared. I know it sounds a bit dumb, but don't be scared. Be yourself and come up with some creative solutions, maybe or creative interview questions. Interview answers. And I think as a final aspect, also prepare a few questions. Questions always are good things so that the interviewer sees, oh look, he's interested in joining this school by asking questions back. Not just giving answers, but also providing questions for the school to answer.
And what kind of questions do you think are relevant?
Well, depending on what you want to get at, what answer you want to get out of the school. For example, how does ESSEC keep that innovation up, and how they evolve their classes? Are they evolving and all that? So I think that could be quite good questions. Yeah.
That could be a tricky question for the
exactly.
for the person in front of you, but that shows an interest for the school. Exactly. Finally, I will ask all of you to give a last message that you want to share with the people watching us. The last sentence that you want them to hear from you from now, because maybe they will be with you at ESSEC in few months. Let's begin with you, Simon. What would you like to say to the people watching us today?
That if they're scared to apply, or they feel like no one's going to be here for them, here there's plenty of people. There's a big community that's always open for you. Not only the faculty, the alumni, the people from your classes, they're all people who are in the same position of you. Most of them are international, so don't feel scared to do the first step of applying or accepting or even coming to France, because everyone is in the same position as you.
Tassina?
I would say play, explore, jump into the water. ESSEC is a great ocean to swim in, to use the metaphor. It's a really great place to challenge yourself, adapt a growth mindset, come in knowing that you will make mistakes and you will learn so much from them. Come in knowing that you will change fundamentally how you look at the world, how you look at French culture, how you look at your interactions with other nationalities. It will be so enriching. So yes, come in like a child ready to learn. Don't have your rules set and thinking you will do this. I think we all do this, but be flexible, forgive yourself, and learn.
And you,
Continuing
Matteo?
that, be open-minded, be adapting, and I think you'll have a very great time here at ESSEC. And don't hesitate to apply to the school, or even reach out to us three. Or even the administrator also. If you have any more questions than that, we'll be more than happy to answer these questions.
And you, Corinne?
Well, I would say I'm very proud of my students. And I hope that you can get a feel of what they represent and how, they're really good representatives of how the school is and the students are in the school. So if you feel that you are, aligned with that, then definitely the school is for you. So don't be scared. Try it out and ask questions. We have ambassadors and recruiters that are really here to help you make your project happen. So you're more than welcome to reach out to them.
Thanks a lot, Corinne, Matteo, Tassina, and Simon, for having me with us today.
Thank you.
And thanks to you for having watched us. If you still have questions about the school, you can visit our website, essec.edu, and you will be able to discuss with some students and to know more about the school, discover the different events ESSEC is taking part in. You have also the opportunity to make a virtual tour. You will have all the information and you will be able to apply online. Thanks a lot for having watched us, and see you soon on here at ESSEC.